color this. I'm Elena with Violeta ink, and we are coloring this beautiful butterfly from Michelle Houghton using the combination for B37, the All About B37. I will show you how to, okay, I have to look at it. If not, anyway, I will show you how to get this part that it looks so deep and it looks like it's behind this little part, and how this little guy looks fluffy but also looks behind the wings. I'll also do this color, but it's not big deal. That one is just coloring. What I want you to pay attention to is how to make this, how to accomplish this. And then this you can use in flowers and pretty much everything. Everything is three-dimensional, and that's what this is. It gives you an idea of the beginnings of dimensional coloring. Remember, this is for beginners. If you already know how to do this, it might not be for you. But if you want to learn, very basic, how to do this, watch the video. I'm Elena again, I already said that, with violetaink.com, and we sell Copic markers, refills, nibs, and Prismacolor pencils. Thank you. So today we're going to be coloring this butterfly from Michelle Houghton, and I'm underpainting with YR65. This is the combination that I use for All About B37. So I want this part to look as is under the other part of the wing. Now we're going to go with B37. B37 is going to be a very strong blue. So we do need to build fences or it's going to look all crooked. So I'm going on top of it. I'll say this is like a Prussian blue. Maybe that's even the name of it. Anyway, so we build a fence and we're gonna start flicking away in a moment. I just wanna make sure that the fence is as straight as I can make it. So we're flicking away from the fence. We need to make sure that we cover all of the underpainting. This is B34. Again, it's gonna be pretty deep. I usually would be flicking here, but, well, now the flicks start. But in the beginning, I didn't because I'm not gonna be able to move that blue if it goes over the line. And this is B32. We're gonna put a slow coat on all of it. I am kind of like flicking, but very slowly. Remember that the slowest you go with the flicks, the more ink is deposited into the paper. Being very careful with the little horns that this butterfly has. Okay, so we continue. This is underpainting, and I'm flicking away. Again, being very careful with the lines. Flicking away from this little angle. I want to leave the images inside the wing without any blue because I want to color them kind of orangey color. Don't remember what combination I used, but I'm sure I'll show you right now. And this is why I shouldn't be flicking here. You see how I went over the right wing, the right part of the wing. Now that little part is not gonna look as if it's on top of the other part of the wing. That's why you need to be very, very careful. I'm flicking away still. And now we're gonna get B34 going on top of all of B37. I just refilled these markers so you can see that they're super juicy. That's how I blend the best when my markers have just been refilled. I'm being very, very careful, and I went over that image. Did I? No, I don't think so. Now, this is when I tell you that I move my paper all the time. When I film the all abouts, I try not to move it a lot because then you won't be able to see what I'm doing. Here, the angle is always going to be for me to be able to flick away from my body, which is how I flick the best. Also, I warm up, I guess you can say. I was doing some flicks here and there. I just got a scrap piece of paper and I started doing that because it is true, even though I have been coloring, Copic coloring for a long, long time, for years, not like 20 years, but like, when did I start coloring? 2018? Yeah, I believe 2018. Even though I have been doing this for a while, I do not do my best work if I had not been practicing earlier. There are a couple of all abouts that I started filming right away, and then I realized when I saw them already published and everything that I should have practiced before, because you can see my hand is kind of tense. Like right now is really loose. I am enjoying the coloring. I hope it makes sense what I'm saying. And now we're going to underpaint again, but I want to leave that middle part alone. I think that's what I should do, and I didn't do that. I should have left that part alone and colored the other one on the right. But here we go. I'm flicking away. I remember I wanted to make this one look as if it's turning, like it's far away from us, and to make the part where it touches the body as if it's closer to us. Now being very careful, building a fence. Now flicking away from the fence. Making sure that I do cover all the underpainting, but also remembering the idea I had while I started doing this, which is to keep it dark in the beginning, to keep it pushed, to keep it far away from us. Then the middle part is gonna start looking closer, and then the end of it, which is the part that is touching the body, the closest to us, that is gonna give the illusion of the other parts of the butterfly, the one on top of it and the one on the bottom, to look far away. Then I'm already on B32. I'm going with it slow, making sure that I do not go over the line, and making sure that it does touch B34. I'm trying not to touch B37 as much, just so I can keep the depth that B37 is already giving us. And now swishing. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I knew it. Well, don't do that. Not so close to the edge, to the line. Now, to me, this little part looks like it's going in a curve. At least that's how I'm interpreting this one. Maybe Michelle can tell me if I'm wrong. So I am flicking away from it. I am underpainting to give that illusion, to enhance that illusion, because she already drew it that way. Still flicking away from the fence, making sure that it is as straight as possible. And now we're gonna go with, oh, okay, I'm gonna underpaint the bottom first. I did underpaint the bottom first because I didn't want to forget that I wanted that little part to look as if it's curving down and then up. That's why I did it that way. Sometimes I color a petal. I do the underpainting, all the markers, and the pencil before I even start the next one. And the reason is because I get this idea that, oh, this petal is doing this. And I don't want to forget, because if I start coloring the whole thing, I might forget that little detail that will make your coloring special, that will give it that different look. So that was my idea here. And we're still flicking away with B37. And as you see here, I didn't move the paper. I was flicking away towards my body instead of away from my body. That's why you can see the little dots right there. I was already not flicking as I should be, not doing it as best as I am capable of doing it. And there's no point doing that. So just move the paper. Now we're gonna go with B34, making sure that we get enough ink. It's been like 30 seconds, maybe a minute since I colored that little part. So because the ink is alcohol based, it evaporates pretty soon. So that's why I'm going a little bit slower than usual, than if I was just flicking like in an all about, that it's one after the other after the other. Making sure I put enough ink, and again I'm flicking towards myself because I don't learn, and I should do it. I should put a sign saying don't do that, but I guess I was being careful. And this is gonna be B32. Usually my third marker is the one that I feel more relaxed with, because I don't flick as much and I go slow. I guess speed makes me a little bit nervous that I will go over the other parts that I already underpainted or painted. Now we're gonna go on top of it, making sure we cover the whole thing. While I wanted to have that streaky look, because it's a butterfly, I don't think I have ever seen a butterfly that is completely blended. I wanted to have that, but I still want it to look even, uniform. And now we're gonna do the next one. And yes, I did skip that little part, which I would have planned to do that. So this one is, again, is like a curve going away from us and then come back. We're gonna use B37. No, don't flick, don't flick. There. Now we can flick away from there. I'm going slow here because I really want that edge to be sharp. Now we're gonna go with B34 on top of it, making sure we cover the whole thing. And we end it with B32. Don't go too fast, don't go too fast. There. That is dangerous. Okay. Swishing here to make sure we have enough ink. Notice that I did not go all the way to B37. Same thing, I wanted to have a lot of depth. Now, in this little part, I imagine that the middle is like the curve. Like it's almost trying to make a circle going up, like a very close curve, C-curve. Flicking away, making sure I cover all of it. Now that line is straight. The others, this one is pretty straight. Now I'm thinking, when you see me, don't think I'm watching TV or anything, but when you see that I am stopping, it's because I am thinking, how far do I go on these flicks? What do I do in here? What do I want it to look like? Because I could go just flick, 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 and it's not gonna have my personality show in it. When I was taking a course with Amy Schulke, she would say, oh, as soon as I see a project, I know who did it. And I was like, wow, she's so good. And no, she is really good. But even now, people see something that I color and they're like, oh, that's Elena. She uses a lot of darks. And she uses a lot of rebel combinations in very dramatic colors. And that's when it starts showing how you color. And now I see a lot of projects from a lot of craft makers, a lot of card makers, and I can tell right away who did it. So we're underpainting. I want this to look, I'm sorry, I'm not underpainting. I am painting with YR68 was the first one that we use here. I just want it to look as another line of the butterfly wing. I didn't want it to look too, I don't want it to look under, or I don't want it to look on top of it. Just like a part of the butterfly. This is YR60A. We're using YR60A right here too. And we're ending it with YR65. And right now I'm thinking I should have added one more. I should have done YR61. Let me make sure that one even exists. YR 61. Yes, it does exist. So I should have used that one. Just to give it a little bit more dimension. Well, maybe I'm gonna use it here. No, I don't think I used it here. The same thing with this geometric images or spots that the butterfly has. I don't want them to look under or up. I just wanted to put some color on them. Oh, I did use YR61. the same thing, YR68. YR65 on top of it, and YR61. So in this project, I show you how to underpaint and where to underpaint, and the reasoning why. Where we underpainted under another wing. Why? Because it has some shade and shadow. It will be desaturated in that part. How? Of course, I gave you the combination, which is YR65 to underpaint B37. And be careful with those little nooks and crannies. This is YR68, and we're flicking away from it. These are more like control flicks. Well, all the flicks should be controlled. It is a good idea to practice the size of your flicks. From very tiny to bigger. I usually color in bigger. That's why I prefer digital images than stamps. I used to color stamps, but they were always so small for me. And Copic Markers, the nib is not that small to be able to do tiny bitty images. And this is YR68. Now we're gonna go to the body of this butterfly. It's very simple. We are gonna make it look as if the top, which is the head of it, is gonna be under the body of the body, I guess. I believe I'm using that is C8. Let me see. Nope, C6. Flicking away from a little fence that I built there. I am thinking that it's kind of tilting, so that is why it's a little bit darker on the bottom. And now we're gonna use C2. So that was C8. I'm sorry, C6, C4, and C2. We are doing the bottom just because I want to make sure that the bottom is also looking below the main part of the body. This is C4. And then we continue with C2, going on top of C6 and C4. Now we're going for the middle of the body. Now remember, these wings, the wing, it looks like a little bit under the body, but in reality it's going to be touching the body. It's not going to be under, so it's going to be like in the middle. So let's give it a little bit of depth, a little bit of push in the middle. That's why I started there with C6, and then I did C4 on top of it, and we're gonna end it with C2. I tend to forget the little horns, so I do hope I didn't forget this time. I'm flicking away and swishing. And oh, I'm gonna be pushing a little bit more. That's true. This is indigo blue from Prismacolor pencils. A little bit here. This project I wanted to leave it more only pencil. Only marker, not much pencils. So I'm only doing a little bit of it. Because at the end of the day, this is a marker. I wouldn't call it tutorial. like a demonstration, because I don't think I'm a good teacher. I just want to show you how I do it and see if you can get anything from it that would be helpful in your coloring journey. I'm making these lines a little bit straighter and sharper, and that's pretty much it. This one, the same thing. I'm trying to make it look neater, cleaner. I usually go very light with this pencil, but in this time, because we use B37, it's pretty dark, you can go a little bit harder so you won't be there forever. A little bit more pressure in here. I am moving the pencil, like rolling it, because I want the sharpest point to be in the paper. Now we are, yes, I'm doing the little horns. So that's pretty much it for the demonstration here. If you have any questions, put it in the description box. Send me a message or something. What else would you like to see? We have a few other butterflies coming, more flowers from the sketch garden. So thank you for watching. Bye.